How that tallies up with what we have suggested, or no, the guidance we have been given. Are we in alignment with that guidance? And if not, no judgment, but how much do we trust ourselves to be in alignment with that guidance? How much do we trust ourselves to hold space for the wisdom that's trying to come through? How much do we trust our heart for the portal of potential that it is? Okay, the energies this week and how to best navigate them. It's not about being cold, harsh, discerning to a degree of damage. It's just about standing in our truth. You know, with my dog, it's heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. But the truth is, he is coming to the end of his life. And that is the truth. He's coming to the next stage. The energies this week and how to best navigate them. You know, the more we stand in the truth of what is occurring, the more we stand in our own truth, we become a lot more grounded and able to hold space for whatever needs to then happen as a result. I'm using these cards because it feels really important to know that this direct energy that's coming through isn't less caring or less empathic, it's compassion. And there's a real difference between empathy and compassion. Empathy is to, on many levels, many stages, feel what is going on and to track it in our body and to sympathize and empathize with everything that's happening. But compassion is to rise above that, and not in the sense of being better than, but to see all angles, and hold space for the truth of unity within that, the love within that, the potential. Okay, so definitely higher heart opening this week. I just felt that in my higher heart, and it's also under the ribs, solar plexus. There's some energy there to be transmuted, and we'll do that with the meditation in a moment. Okay. There comes a time when we feel what we feel, and we must stand our ground and connect to that wisdom, not for anybody else, but for ourselves. I share that because the card that's come out is the Queen of Cups. I actually thought it would be the Queen of Swords, but no, it's the Queen of Cups. And it's right next to it, we have the Eight of Wands here. There's a real swift potential coming through, a spiritual energy coming through if we can say what we feel, if we can allow others to do the same and to listen to that, to hold space for that, to be in all these multi-truths as the one truth. If we can flow with the information that's coming through rather than question that, then things are going to move swiftly here. Okay. It's almost like breaking the energies down day by day, listening to the different guidance that's coming through. Presence is going to be so important this week. One moment at a time. I hear Whitney Houston, and it's beautiful because it's the second time she's actually come to me today. For those that know me, I don't normally connect to particular people or energies, but actually this is the second time and I can't really ignore it. This morning it was the song Your Love Is My Love, and now I'm hearing One Moment in Time. If we can feel the love that we all connect to, if we can be in the space of the heart, no matter how uncomfortable, and remembering that the discomfort is because we haven't allowed that. If we can slowly allow that love to flow within us and around us, there's a huge destiny that we could all collectively reach within the next few weeks, actually. But it takes one moment, well, that song, one moment in time, bit by bit. Okay. And what I'm sensing now is the moment we connect to that wisdom of love, we may find that the things in front of us seem too mundane. But it's not about taking those energies up. It's not about raising the vibration of things, but bringing that higher vibration down through us as the hollow bone into everything that we do. Okay. I'm going to stop there. I didn't want to. I wanted to carry on because at the bottom of the pack we have the Nine of Wands. But it feels quite important to recognise what we have gone through, but to use that and rekindle our path, to use that to transform whatever is occurring. To have the wisdom of the masculine, and I wanted to say the elders, support and guide us. On the Monday, we have the Queen of Wands. What I want to draw our attention to first is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. On the Thursday, there were two energies that were coming out, and I tried to almost split the energies. And for the rest of this week, we're almost going to want to split the energies so that we can understand them better or put them into some kind of polarity, but they are one and the same. And these two energies are the Eight of Cups, which is grief, but also the Knight of Cups. What can we take forward from everything that is happening now? In the loss, there is always something to be gained. What can we take forward from that? It's not about separating the journey. Grief itself, loss itself, change itself is a journey. And I will come back to that, but I just want to focus on the fact that on the trunk of this tree, we have the radio room, the road forward. Okay, and it's going towards the 8, and there's a little squirrel there with a horn, a cup. Okay, so it's not about focusing on this down here anymore, but it's about the way forward is towards self-mastery. What emotional wisdom are we going to take forward this week based on the loss and the grief and the changes that are and have been occurring and will continue to occur throughout the rest of this year? So on the Monday, we have the Queen of Wands, and it's always about coming back to that light. I'm going to share a meditation in a minute about the transformative flame within us. And it feels really important to nurture that on the Monday, to really keep connecting back to this light that is within us. It isn't about blinding people. For some people, we may find we have a little spark, a little flicker, and we need to take care of that, and that's okay. Okay. Or you may find that you're really riled up and you have all this energy, and your light, your vibration is to support others to get theirs re-sparked, or you may find your light and vibration is more of a steady flame that keeps things burning. Okay, so really connecting to what that energy within you is, recognizing yourself as the portal of change by honoring and honing into who you are and nurturing that. We talk about what we don't know, but deep down inside we know ourselves, and we're going to be shown that throughout the week, how through the many things that we have survived, the many things that we have discovered about ourselves. But it's not about focusing on the story, it's about focusing on the light that we've gained in the darkness, and acknowledging that light only has a purpose in darkness. On the Tuesday, that brings forth a bit more victory as we recognise the flags that we decide to fly. Okay, what do we stand for? What are we going to take forward on the Tuesday? It doesn't need a lot of shouting, it just needs recognition from ourselves. What have we been holding all this time in our hands that perhaps we may not have seen? What are we now ready to hold up and acknowledge within us? I saw a quote earlier today, and again, I can't remember who it was by, so apologies. Somebody saying that they didn't like conflict, and that they did all they could to avoid conflict, but in doing so, that actually led them into a life of conflict with their self. So whatever we are flying Tuesday, whatever we are standing in, whatever is our truth, are we applying that to ourselves? And if so, how? Because the Six of Wands, that's where that victory is actually going to come from. By recognizing it's all about walking our talk. It's all about standing in our truth. We make it very complicated. We make it very we need to fix this, we need to shift this, we need to do the shadow work, the ancestral work, the da 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 da. It's about bringing these energies home now. They're very scattered. How can we bring harmony? By standing in who we are, where we are in that moment. Things change. We will change. But until we can acknowledge where we are, nothing shifts. And on Tuesday, that's what brings forth the victory as we move into Wednesday, which is where I don't want to say work, it's almost achievements come into play. We have the Eight of Pentacles here, and you can see that they're actually polishing what they have discovered. They are, hanging them up to be proud of them. Yeah, recognizing how far we have come on the Wednesday is really going to help ease some of the transition that's going to happen on Thursday as we move into that more grief-like energy and taking that forward. Honing our physical body, being with what we are feeling, that is enough. Remember that the portal is personal and it's down to our body and how we experience it in every single moment. Divine timing comes from trusting the body and what we know. As we move into Thursday, the emotions that no longer serve us are going to help us move forward, and in doing so we will be letting go of them also. Look out for any secondary gains on Thursday, because I did want to split the energies. I wanted to almost understand them and put that in that camp and that in that camp, but actually bringing them together is what's going to move us forward on the Thursday. On the Friday we have the Knight of Swords, and I almost feel like tired, confused, not wanting to move forward on the Friday. However, the energy is almost dictating that we have to do that. It is mentally, so bear that in mind. We still need to physically be ready, acknowledging that we may be more ready than we give ourselves credit for on the Friday as we move into the Five of Pentacles on the Saturday. On the Saturday, there's going to be a lot of I didn't plan that. This isn't quite what I wanted. It's quite an up and down week. I'm trying to think when we have the full moon. That I think is on the Friday. So not letting our mind take over, because otherwise on the Saturday we may feel as if we've kind of come up against a brick wall, that no matter what we try, we've kind of got nowhere. Sitting with that on the Saturday, because on the Sunday we have the Four of Pentacles. It is that we're actually about to let go. It is that we're about to actually transform. This week feels very undecided, very ungrounded. Even though there's a lot of pentacle energy here, it feels very disconnected, discombobulated and scattered. Find your roots, find your truth, find your path this week. There are one, two. I nearly thought the Four of Pentacles then was a wand card. I nearly thought what I needed to let go of, or how I could find security, would be in the spiritual energy, but it isn't. It's in the physical energy this week. So there's three wand cards. The Queen of Wands, the Six of Wands, and the Nine of Wands. And the 6 and 9 are either side of the Queen of Wands here. It's about standing direct in the victories that we have gained and letting go of the difficulties that come from questioning those. Nurture our truth, our spiritual connection. We then have 1, 2, 3 pentacle cards. So beautiful balance there between the spirit and the body. And we have the 8 of Pentacles, the 4 of Pentacles, and the 5 of Pentacles. There is mastery to be had there again in recognizing our achievements rather than focusing on what we haven't gained, really sense into what we have gained. And it's that that's going to form some transformation in regards to what we need to let go of. It does feel as if it's almost been handed to us, a journey that we may not have expected to take but have taken because of the circumstances. Oh yes, of course, it's that whole Pluto and Capricorn and Aquarius thing. There's a big ending of work that we have put in, contracts, soul contracts, connections even coming to an end now, particularly the relationship we have with not being able to change things. That is coming to an end. I read somewhere the other day that when Pluto moves into Aquarius, there's going to be some real fast transformations, and actually I've been feeling them. We notice something and it shifts, we notice something and it shifts. That can feel quite ungrounding and give us some form of uncertainty this week, but as long as we have roots in who we are and what we've mastered about ourselves and our physical body through everything, we can let go of this "it happened to us" type energy and really feel into it's more of a human sovereignty, the human connection of this life. So the wands and the pentacles, the physical and the spiritual, are threes. They're where the creativity comes from. So again, bringing that energy down into the body, allowing that to take root, to ground in. I saw a beautiful video again the other day about, we're coming into winter. We're coming into that space of darkness, and being held by that, but also planting seeds in that darkness, using this time of uncertainty to think about what we may want to achieve. Not what we have, but what we may want to take forward, and stay open to that, stay curious to that. We have 2 cup cards, so there is a union here of our emotions and our psychic abilities as well. We have the 8 of Cups and the Knight of Cups. So what are we choosing to take forward emotionally? How are we going to master that intelligence within us? When things get repetitive, that can be a wonderful opportunity. So today, with my wolfhound suddenly unable to walk, on the same day that my collie passed 5 years ago on the 11/11 portal, that brought forward lots of emotions, lots of repetitions and things that I've been through. And a lot of us are going through that at the moment as these old timelines, these old energies come forward. And it's not about reliving them all, but what did we find in that? So this morning, with my beautiful collie coming forward, I actually saw her on my walk with my wolfhound, right next to my wolfhound when he hurt his leg. And with her coming forward on this day of her crossing over, she reminded me that no matter what I feel, I've got this, that she's got this. that there's a connection, a wealth of connection, of love shared that we can tap into to help us move through this. So underneath the grief, underneath the changes, underneath the shifts that are encouraging us to move forward now, is a love that goes beyond it all. And it's about tapping into that and that light and allowing that to guide us, uniting with that. And then we have one sword card, and it's the Knight of Swords here. What I'm being drawn to is the clouds behind him, the thunderous energy almost coming through, this desire to charge, to take charge, to feel the charge, to run with that. Deciding what now? Is it the ideas of others? Is it the judgments of your own? What is forcing you or guiding you? There's a big difference through these energies, whether you want to call it the portal or the full moon or your own shifts in consciousness. What is now guiding you through it? I felt a real deep recognition this morning of a very older energy within me that possibly doesn't really have much place in this world at the moment, or at least that's my belief around it. But actually, when I tuned into the stillness, it's who I am. And we may be greeted with that this week. The other side of these energies, there's a reason why I waited beyond 11:11 and instead did this video at 11:44. We may be greeted with the potential that now waits for us. Of course, it's up to us whether we take that step or not. And there may be things that stand in the way of that. There may be doubts and concerns and insecurities. So on that note, what I'm going to do is pause this video, turn the music up, and prepare for a meditation for this portal, or whenever you feel as if you're not quite ready to move through, so that we can combine our connection to spirit, our mindset, our emotions, and our physical body for whatever we may be facing. Get yourself comfortable. I'll pause this video and I shall see you presently. Welcome back. So I've just set up some space for the energies that wanted to come through, and there's a lot in regards to our environment, particularly with the inner child. A lot in regards to times when we would have liked to have been held, when we may have drawn upon strength within us and not felt prepared enough to work with that energy. A lot of fear around our capabilities based on the environments we have or continue to find ourselves in. A lot of disconnection as a result from the space, the circumstances that are playing out in front and around, and indeed within us. So based on that, we're going to work with the energy of the dragons. I have a septarian piece in front of me here. You know, I've been doing a lot of work with these archetypes for as long as I can remember. And for me personally, they're linked to the ley lines of the earth and to horses and to the feminine. And up until this year, I made the naive interpretation and belief that dragons were very powerful, strong, almost aggressive type energies. And they can be, like all transformation, like all change, right? Like death and beginning and the Tower card. Beneath them all, within all things, lies the feminine, the nurture and the mother. So I want to take you on a meditation to connect to that energy within you now. I invite you to get yourself comfortable, whether you are sitting or lying. I wouldn't recommend doing this meditation while you're driving or walking, because it feels very important to take a moment to be still in this busy crazy world we find ourselves in. To give yourself permission to pause, to be, to allow the changes within you and around you to do what they do best, to shift, to observe, to witness, to listen, to know it isn't about silencing the mind, restricting the body, dictating the outcome, but the very glory of experiencing all that you experience for the wisdom that it brings. So I invite you to take a deep breath in through your nose. Slowly breathe that out through your mouth. And again, deep breath in through your nose. Out through your mouth, allowing your body to soften, your mind to still, if it chooses to. And a deep breath in again. And out through the mouth. To draw your attention to the head of your head, your scalp,